people mistaking what I'm saying as meaning prep should be perfect and the prep should be easy. There's a difference between being prepared and prep being easy. People have this weird assumption that there's gonna be a perfect time to prep. There is never gonna be a perfect time to prep. There's never gonna be a point in life as an adult where you're gonna have 4 to 6 months of uninterrupted time with no obstacles or hurdles being thrown your way that require you to change or grow or improve. The importance of prep is that it forces you to reflect on how you do things. It forces you to adapt and change so that you get better every time you do it. What is up, YouTube? All right, guys, so we are at the middle of week 4 prep. We've got a full pull session to go through now. We are only in a deload week this week, so this is about week 8 of the deload. When it comes to prep, Chris is a little bit more proactively structured with his deloads. Usually in off season and a bit more towards the start of things like a maintenance block. He's a little bit more reactive, when the body demands it. So now we're gonna be a little bit more proactive and pre-assigned to deloading. So today is gonna be, he likes to take a little bit of volume away from sets and then a little bit of load away from the actual lifts. So I think we're down to like 2 sets per exercise and about 30 to 35% off total lifts weight of each set. So it's an overall pretty decent reduction. Just trying to alleviate some fatigue that we've built up already. Make sure that we've got sufficient runway for the rest of the prep. So we're going through some questions. We've got plenty of stuff with me and Phil to ramble about. And yeah, we're going to catch some training and give you guys a behind the scenes look at how deload goes. So nice and simple, in and out. And yeah, let's do it. Does Phil have a signature fadeaway? No, he just has autism and fucking epilepsy. Huh. Hang on, I should dig in my hip.
What are you doing?
Just get in my hip.
Oh yes, the hip.
Oh. Oh, that's rough. Woo. Oh. I would have to imagine that a PDD party isn't that bad.
What's that?
Is that recording?
I'll hear later, yeah.
Huh?
It's always recording.
I said, I can't even imagine a P. Diddy party hurts as bad. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. That one was still there, but facing this way, was it? Or was it somewhere else? Yeah.
Keeping you warm, I got the right temperature that's keeping you from the start.
What else has changed? Is that it? Ugh. Yeah. You're gonna have to move it back. How you going over here with the Diddy party?
Feeling violated.
When did your prep start?
Prep started, we're inside the 4th week now, so three Sundays ago.
Huh, what? That's when your prep started?
Yeah.
Like the official prep?
Yeah.
I thought it started ages ago.
Nah.
But you've been training with Chris for a while now.
Yeah, I've been training with Chris since April.
But the official prep 3 and a bit weeks
Actual
ago.
prep started 3 and a bit weeks ago, yeah.
So when people say today is prep, my prep starts today, what do you think that means to them versus what does that mean to you?
That's an interesting question. So generally for me, when prep starts, that means we've officially started programming, training and dieting for the intention of the prep duration. There's periods leading up to that which stack and scaffold the prep to be in a better position. But from that, it's where we're essentially trying to get the body, now we're officially trying to diet and deficit for the point of getting on stage. I think I'll see a lot of people talk about like dieting or getting leaner and then be like, oh, my prep was only 4 weeks long or 6 weeks long. It's a load of shit. You were deficiting, you were in a diet, you were in a caloric restricted phase with the intention of maintaining muscle tissue and practicing posing, you were prepping. The reason why I'm saying our prep hasn't started yet is because I was in a maintenance phase with very high amounts of food plus free meals on the weekends and refeeds. So it was absolutely not a prep start phase yet. Chris wanted to get the body to a position where it could respond well to a prep, get maintenance calories up. We're actually feeding more food in. But yeah, that's probably the difference for me in what prep start actually looks like. That's that. That'll do. All right. Yeah.
Would you say is your prep off to a good start?
Prep is off to a very good start. So far, this is easily the best I've ever looked coming into a show this far out. Usually I wouldn't start feeling like this until about 4 or 5 weeks out. And probably way less confident and way more hungry. So I was about 90.2 this morning, fluctuating between a high 89 and a low 90, which puts us about 2 to 3 kilos off my stage weight, I reckon, with about 16 weeks to go. So everything's off to a really good start, physically, emotionally, psychologically, energy-wise. Everything's in a very good position. Barely doing cardio, output's manageable, training loads going well, body's responding, recovering well, remedial massage is going good, posing's great, everything's just in a good spot. So yeah, I've not really felt like this going into a show this far out before. I'm excited to see what that actually looks like then.
What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes people make within their first few weeks of starting to prep?
Biggest mistakes people make, they try and go too hard too quickly, don't have the experience, the ability to handle it, and then usually what happens is that leads to a cascade of effects downstream that they aren't able to handle or manage effectively. So what people fail to understand is that when you're making decisions in a prep, it's not just the short term or the front end that you're worried about, the acute period of time where you're making that decision. It's also weighing up what does that decision impact down the track. Recoverability, available energy of food, intake of food, training capacity, recoverability, your ability to train hard, effectively, manage performance in the gym. All these things start adding up because that determines how much tissue you maintain, determines how much tissue you might put on, fat loss, rest, recovery, sleep, all that starts to add up. If you're impacting that in the front end, you're going to be absolutely impacting that on the back end. So you've got to be able to make the right decision. And unfortunately, a lot of people get excited and gung-ho because it's prep, their first time prepping, and they'll go balls to the walls and do all this extra stuff. So that is a huge mistake a lot of people make when it comes to prep. So it's a marathon, not a sprint, but you want to be able to maintain a high level of speed within that marathon. Ugh. Hey, you know what's cool? We had 3 people come up to us at the gym now and say they watch our stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can leave this rolling, it'll be good, but I don't know if I'll ever. Well, I fucking hope, but I don't think I will ever be that arrogant where that doesn't feel cool.
Oh yeah, of course not.
And not in a cool sense where it's like, oh, I'm cool, but just like in my head, no one watches.
Yeah.
So the fact that even like 2 or 3 people here come up and be like, man, I watched this, or we watched this, or like I see your stuff here, or whatever. Like, it's weird in my head.
Yeah.
So I know that we wrote this, we started making stuff on the intention that maybe one person watches it.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're already in the gym, people are like, oh, this is your stuff, we see you here, do this. One kid came up to me the other day, he's like, oh man, I'm a musician, I travel around America. He's like, I know you've been there. I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, oh, I watch your stuff. He's like, I haven't been back here for 3 months. He's like, your changes have been impressive since I saw you last. I'm like, that's fucking cool, man, thanks. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that, I appreciate it. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get bored of that.
You should start walking around with a permanent marker in your pocket, and as soon as someone says, oh, just sign them. There you go.
All right, line up. Don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal in this parameter of this gym.
That's cool, bro. Did they say like, oh, the videographer's sexy?
I said they're really good, they can hear him but can't see him.
Okay, yeah. He's
got a voice for radio, but also got a face for radio. You're prettiest to me, so that's all that matters.
You hear that, Chrissy?
Yeah, fuck you, Chris.
Chrissy's gonna think that I hate him. Can't wait to meet him at your show.
Oh, look who it is. Our furthest away client in Australia, Tom, came over from Western Australia to check out Brisbane for a week.
Yeah.
He's like, been with us for like 3.5 years and never actually met him in person because like he lives in fucking WA and no one wants to go to WA. So the first time in 3.5 years he came over to Brisbane, checking out living over here.
Yeah.
Wanted to look at different places, so took him around, took him to the gym, showed him the place, showed him Newstead, new farm. When
you started your prep,
yep.
What was the first thing that you locked in? Like, what was like the number one thing? Cool, we need to lock in for this.
The number one thing I locked in really was that negotiables ended. So if it meant that if it was a choice between doing X and getting training, cardio, posing, meal prep done, it wasn't even a conversation. Previously I'd work around the calendar and sort of make it fit, but once prep starts, it kind of becomes like that just becomes priority and everything else will be secondary to that. So it's not a bad thing or a dig at anyone. It's just that when you start running the business, uni's sort of finishing up for the semester, but we've got a lot of coursework we're putting out, content we're putting out. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that goes into what we do that is just not a priority for us to then do, the social stuff. So it's not that we're better than anyone about it or anything like that. It's just simply once prep started, the decision was this is priority and, everything else comes after the fact. If we make it fit, we make it fit. If we don't, I'm just not even negotiating the concept. And that's where the biggest thing that really just locks in. Everything else kind of just stays the same. I hate deload sessions. They're so boring, but they're essential.
Is it like Yeah, we're already on the second exercise.
Yeah.
So tell me exactly what is the difference between a deload session and a normal session, and how often are they?
So you can run deload sessions in multiple different ways. There's many different formats to how people will run the deload. During prep, Chris is a bit more specific with it. So it's reduced load, reduced volume, but you still got to be in the gym. So the idea is like you're trying to alleviate accumulated fatigue and stress you built up over a block of training. With that means you still need to be coming in here to get motion, movement through the joints, through the muscles, contract, generate a degree of stimulus and tension so that you aren't losing tissue. But at the same time, you want to generate enough that you stimulate the necessity to keep the tissue you have, but also ease off the load that you've been training at. So think about it, could be anywhere from like inside 6 to 10 weeks to generally find your fit a deload if you're training close proximity to failure. It's a way in which you kind of just take the load back, let the joints relax a little bit, but still take things through range of motion, get blood flow to the area, and just sort of get some stimulus to the muscle. So you're basically alleviating fatigue while still coming in here and generating a degree of tension on the area you're training, the muscle group you're training. It just helps offset fatigue, exhaustion, inflammation, stress, joint stress, and you generally find that it allows you to then push further for longer again in the next block of training. So for Chris, it's a reduction of weight and a reduction of sets. I have multiple different ways I approach it with clients. It could be anywhere from a whole week off training, a couple of days off training. It could be set reduction, load reduction, or overall intensity reduction. It all just depends on the person, what they know, how they train, kind of understanding your clients. In prep, Chris is very specific with it. This is obviously our first prep together, and he just tells me what to do, and this is how we go about doing it. So for an example, seated row on this machine, I've been doing 100 kilos. I'm literally at 70 kilos this week for 2 sets. It's 30% reduction.
So it sounds like my everyday training session.
Yeah.
A deload session.
Just do less.
Yeah.
And I'll come in here and still do something, but also do nothing.
Back to what you were saying before about the prep.
Yep.
Would you say that it starts, like prep really does start with saying no to people, or to opportunities, to things, events?
Yeah. Not so much saying no, but just make sure you have your priorities lined up. Like you can make those things fit. I'm just not a very social person. So for me, it's not a topic of discussion. If it's even remotely going to conflict with things, I'll generally say no. But as long as when it comes to your prep, your priorities are in place, you know the order of execution, things have to get done, what's essential to getting done, ticked off. If you're able to do that, then yeah, that's pretty much, that becomes a key part of prep. It'll just mean that for you, there's certain things that like you just make those trade-offs based on what's important to you and what you have going on. For us, that's just the social events and stuff aren't a priority. So for me, it's not a big loss or a feeling of missing out or FOMO. It's very easy to say, okay, I'm locked in doing this thing now. These events are secondary, or this stuff we'll get to eventually. But right now, it's just not a priority for where we are. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that is for us a key metric as to when prep actually starts for me. Is like that decision for those things to happen. That's one of the factors that says, okay, prep's locked in.
It can take a toll on you mentally and physically to prep. How do you stop that from bleeding into your actual client work and looking after your clients?
That's where what I call psychological flexibility, or basically energy redirection, really becomes important. So my commitment first and foremost is always to my clients and to the business and serving other people. That's what people pay us for. That's what I'm there for. It's great people follow or feel motivated by watching our stuff or whatever it might be. Even clients might feel inspired or led by what I do. But my commitment is to them, which is why I pulled out of the last show. my commitment was to the team, and I couldn't maintain my efforts as a business and keep doing what we're doing in the prep with how extreme it was getting. So for me, it's all about managing energy and making sure that we have priorities lined up. That means that outside of my training, nutrition, posing, etc., which is all just stuff that goes in the background anyway, as it always does, clients and the business always takes first point of priority. So I'll always do that first, take care of them first. So then anything less than that, if I lose energy, if I get tired, if I'm feeling fatigued, I've done my actual job, and then things go backwards from there. So that's kind of how I make sure that we take care and prioritize the team, so that we're not falling behind and no one's missing out or service quality drops. A prep should never be an excuse to drop service or quality service for the people you take care of. They pay you for a reason, and you don't get to use prep as an excuse to drop your standards.
First time I've ever seen you doing chin-ups, ever.
Hey, Chris said to do less.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are you doing high rocks in in April, bro?
I am actually.
Tom and I are doing high rocks. Yeah, me and you.
Of the three of us, only one of us has actually done a high rock, so let's tone that opinion down a bit.
Tom's doing it, first one.
Is he?
Yeah.
Don't know if you,
So I'm doing my shreds at the moment.
don't know if your knees can handle that. Don't know if your knees can handle that.
So it's just some walking lunges,
Mine can't.
some wall balls.
Just feel tears every time you go for a stride. Oh, there's a hip. Oh, there's a hip. She's so tiny from up here. Oh.
Do you front load or set non-negotiables during the start of your prep?
Yeah, so I kind of like set, rather than non-negotiables, I'll have like a predetermined standard that I have to meet. So like, as prep goes on, cardio will increase, posing will increase, so they're non-negotiables, they get done, the duration will change. So like, I have a standard of success for myself that I'll determine as like, that's the effort I have to match or I have to meet. So it might be like Chris increases cardio, my non-negotiable might be that, you know, I've got to do 3 times cardio a week and make that fit, that's priority. It might then change to 4 times, 5 times, whatever. So for me, it's more about holding up a standard at that point where it's like, whatever the cardio is that I have to get done, it is a priority to everything else. You know, if I have 5 meals a day, that is priority to everything else. If I have to get 5 training sessions done with these exercises, that is a priority before everything else. So it becomes more of a standard that I hold that just levels up as the prep goes on, as Chris adds more and more stuff to it. But yeah, even from the start of prep, to me, it's not something you ramp up as you're in prep. It is something that you hit. I just say it's like going from 5th gear to 6th. My job is to get to 6th gear as prep starts and then be able to hold that for as long as possible.
How long can you hold it?
What's that?
How long can you hold it?
I'll hold it the whole time. One of my favorite things to teach people is understanding the law of averages and understanding your A, B, and C game. So everyone talks about bringing their A game, right? They're like, I want to bring my A game, I want to bring this, and this week I'm on my A game. But the reality is, the law of averages, you can't be on your A game every single week. You don't want to base prep on your A game. You want to base prep on your B game. What is your average and how can you hold it? Average doesn't mean a lower performing number. It means what is the average you can sustain at a high level. So I try to teach people that your B game should be so good that it looks like other people's A game. That way the standards you operate at, even if you fall back to that baseline, is still so far above what everyone else is doing that you are essentially an A performer, an A player, operating what's your average. That is how you standardize high performance. Not trying to shoot for A games and randomly having bursts of high performance here or there, making sure that your average is so good it makes everyone else's game look shit. So that's the way I try to operate prep by, is like not having these outstanding days, but rather a consistent, succinct period of very high level B days that are well and truly above what most people will be able to operate at for their A days. All right, next exercise.
Brooklyn and people close to you, they understand what it's like for you at the start of a prep. What do you think are some of the conversations that people starting the prep should be having with the people close to them?
Communication with those around you that you want to keep around you in a prep cannot be overstated as important. You cannot state that enough. In terms of specific conversations, getting very clear on what food is allowed to be or what that looks like, social events, going out to eat, coming prepared with your meals, training priority, cardio priority, all the things that you have to get done. Communicating with people exactly how that goes, when that's going to be done by, what free time you do have, how long you can attend events for. All these things basically become your responsibility to set the clarity on, because people don't know. They want to know, or to a degree they want to ask questions, but they don't have any idea. So if you assume knowledge on their behalf, that is a mistake on your behalf and is your fault if they don't understand it. So getting clear as early as prep as possible, even before prep starts, I'm gonna have to do these things. I won't be able to go here at these times. I'm gonna be in bed by this time. All of these things become standardized expectations because you now clarify to people what they're supposed to be. If you presume knowledge, you are setting yourself up for failure and developing resentment because you have undisclosed expectations. Anyway, back to prep chats.
Yeah, prep chats.
Prep chats.
Prepping for...
Do deportation.
Do you schedule or plan any downtime during the prep?
Yeah, so I try to make sure that I have periodic, what I would call like mental deloads. I'll work late, get all my personal stuff out of the way in the morning, so like training, cardio, steps, get all that stuff taken care of in the day, in the morning, and then work into the evening on different areas. And then depending on where I'm currently at, I'll schedule in like an hour or so of gaming or something like that, so I can fit that in and sort of relax. During uni, it's like once a week. Now that uni's over and I'm actually in prep, I try to keep that consistent as like at least 3 or 4 times a week to make sure that I'm getting something to just relax for a minute. Sundays, we try not to do too much social stuff, try to use that to recharge batteries. As prep goes on, Sundays kind of become like a don't touch calendar day, and it'll be a lot more like home life, relaxation, sauna, pool, steps and cardio, that's about it. But at this point, it's kind of just like a very minimal social stuff. We've got plans to go, do like Christmas shopping, that sort of thing, but outside of that, as prep goes on, I really try to make sure I'm just conserving as much energy as possible, so that again, we can just take care of who we need to take care of myself, take care of Brooklyn, and that sort of thing. So I always try to make sure there's some downtime in there, and then periods of just no social interaction or as little as possible. Mm-hmm.
Ooh. What is this? How does the music go from gangster to this?
Yeah, I don't know.
How does the training actually change from when prep starts?
It'll depend on what phase you're in, but generally what I find happens is it becomes a lot more about fatigue management and generation of stimulus. So with a prep, we're trying to reduce as much fatigue as possible and be able to maintain periods of training at high intensity. So most of your exercises probably turn to what we call external stabilization. So you're looking for machines to help stabilize the joint and the bar path. So you're taking less stress on the joints so you can handle loading up more effectively, limiting to the target muscle you're trying to train, and then you're able to run that period of training for a longer time. So, you know, for that might be Smith machine instead of barbell bent over rows. It might mean cable press instead of dumbbell press. You're relying on or allowing the machines to help you stabilize the movement, which can then generate more tension and force without loading the joint as much, so you can get more out of that training block. So little things like that tend to stack up, make a big difference over the course of 20 to 30 weeks. Training load kind of reduces a little bit depending on, you know, drug load, food load, and things like that. You might not have as many sets. Volume might specify a little bit differently, trying to maintain target areas. You know, if you've got certain category requirements, you might redistribute volume to certain areas so you retain that tissue during prep. So it all just depends on what your category is, what your goals are, and what phase of prep you're in. But yeah, it kind of just becomes a lot more about maintaining or limiting fatigue while maximizing tension and growth.
So we're 3 weeks in.
Yep.
2 to 3 weeks in. How do you know things are set up properly during the prep?
Realistically,
Like, from the first 3 weeks, how can you tell if it is or isn't set up properly?
if things are set up properly, one of the biggest things I'm noticing this time differently is it doesn't really feel like you're in prep. So most of what you already be doing should be getting done. Most of what you're currently doing would have already been in some part of your program or system. Most of it is just what I call shifting from 5th gear to 6th. You're not changing much, just going a little bit harder. So for me, most of prep right now doesn't really feel like I'm in prep, except I haven't had a free meal or a refeed in now nearly 4 weeks. I was having like 1 free meal a weekend or 2 free meals a week, something like that, depending on what Chrissy wanted. But now it's kind of like I just haven't had one of those in 4 weeks to keep calories down and just sort of dig out this first phase of fat. But besides that, next to 99% of my life hasn't changed. So realistically, prep just becomes, to know that it's on track and moving well, you're not looking for drastically reducing calories, feeling fatigue already, being tired already, not sleeping, trying to do all this extra work. Things are just in motion and going smoothly because they're going smoothly, because nothing has really changed that much. So if it starts feeling like everything's chaotic and you're out of energy and life's feeling skewed, chances are something is already off. You need to be reflecting on your starting position, what choices were made, what decisions were made, what your programming changed to look like, because it shouldn't feel that screwed up already, where you're starting to notice changes emotionally and energetically compared to physically on the visuals. I leave my towel somewhere.
What?
I've definitely left my towel somewhere.
No, is that yours?
Oh, fuck, there it is.
Bro, prep's not off to a good start. Yes, please.
Something else that I think is worth mentioning is people mistaking what I'm saying as meaning prep should be perfect and the prep should be easy. There's a difference between being prepared and prep being easy. People have this weird assumption that there's gonna be a perfect time to prep. There is never gonna be a perfect time to prep. There's never gonna be a point in life as an adult where you're gonna have 4 to 6 months of uninterrupted time with no obstacles or hurdles being thrown your way that require you to change or grow or improve. The importance of prep is that it forces you to reflect on how you do things. It forces you to adapt and change so that you get better every time you do it. Yes, there's a degree of wanting to be on point and not missing things, and that's where you have to refine your calendar, your schedule, your processes. But assuming that you can only prep when things are perfect is the most misguided way to view it. It's like anything in life, if you wait only for the perfect time to do it, you're never going to find the time to do it. There's always going to be a reason to pull out or cancel or drop it or let it go. You're going to end up being 85 years old, looking back at your life and regretting all of the things you didn't get done because it wasn't the perfect time to do it. The best part about prep is that it forces you to adapt in real time and make yourself better. So just to clarify that around the idea that what I'm talking about is not a perfect time to prep, but rather maximizing your systems and your processes that before you start, prep is in the best place it can be to happen. Woo! If you can't get it, woo! Woo! But yeah, one of the things I think is most important that people don't understand is prep. To really execute prep at a high level, it forces you to improve time allocation, time management, and scheduling. It's one of the things I think a lot of people get wrong when they start, but if you're prepping properly and you're really trying to execute things at a high level, you realize eventually how much stuff you have to do and what has to get done and how you have to structure and order your day so that it's possible to get completed. Otherwise you end up backloading a lot of stuff and falling behind, it snowballs, and you just basically feel lost and you struggle to catch up. So that's why one of the reasons why I love prep is that it forces structure and adherence into people's lives, even if they're not good at it. In order to complete it, you have to develop it. Something what you want to be.
gay. Really gay.
You film it. That makes you also gay.
No, you're right. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's just.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
walk in front of
No, go.
Just
You're right.
pretend the camera's
Don't
not
be
here.
stupid.
It's not Ben's gym. Yeah.
What's going on, big dog? Good, mate, are you? Whew. Alright, so biggest advice when it comes to prep posing is that, I don't know, yeah it is. Biggest advice to prep posing is start practicing early. Too many people start trying to do their posing practice 6 weeks out, wonder why they look like shit, feel like shit, can't contract the poses on stage, they cramp up, ask what supplement's going to help with cramping. The reality is you haven't developed a posing condition. Posing conditioning is just as important as training, as nutrition, because if you get up there and you can't show off the physique you built, it's almost redundant and it makes no sense to pose it or show it off. So taking time to actually nail the poses, nail the shots, be able to breathe through it properly, it's essentially like a quarterback not learning how to throw a spiral or a halfback not learning how to throw a pass. It is a fundamental part of the job that you're trying to execute. So waiting until you're 4 weeks out because I'll pick it up eventually is just lazy and trying to rationalize it. All right, so that is deload pull session done. Like I said, nothing very exciting in terms of load. A lot more questions and talking today than anything, but these sessions are still essential to the long runway of prep. Making sure that you're executing effectively, make sure you have the energy and the fatigue management in place to be able to handle 20 to 30 weeks of training, nutrition, dieting, posing, all of it encompassing a physique prep. We have a lot more content coming out. We are still open over Christmas, books are still open. If you are ready to start work in the new year and you want to get on stage, you want to build your physique, do not wait until the 1st of January. Book in a consult now. The books are open, we're not closing them. We're available for chats. We want to get you planned and ready to go for the next year. Don't wait until the start of next year to decide that you want to do something important. Now is the time to do it. Get yourself squared away and locked in. Besides that, make sure you like, subscribe, drop comments, all that stuff, follow along. There is a lot coming out for this prep. Day in the life, behind the scenes, get ready stuff, all those things, I don't know what you want to call it, plus our usual training vlogs and content ideas. So make sure you're following, keep in touch, and drop comments if you like it, engage with it, all of it. That's it.